It's been more than 30 years since a Jupiter Farms man left his home and never returned. To this day, there's been no arrest, no cause of death, no answers.
Tonight, in a WPBF 25 News exclusive investigation, Tiffany Kenny sits down with the victim's sister and the retired investigator who believes Joe Moskowitz was murdered.
So this is Joe here.
Lynn Stevens has never stopped fighting for her brother.
And that was probably 4 months before he went missing.
Tell me a little bit about Joe.
He was a character. My brother was always a lot of fun. He was always joking around. He was a family man. He loved his kids to death.
Joe Moskowitz was 42 back in 1994 when he left his Jupiter Farms home to run errands. He never returned.
That was when he was missing. We wanted to get something out right away.
Joe's family filed a missing persons report with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, but Lynn instinctively knew something was terribly wrong. 4 months earlier, the computer programmer told his sister he was worried for his safety.
He came to my office and he told me that he thought that he and his family needed to move out of Jupiter Farms. He said that there's a lot of bad things going on in his neighborhood.
Illegal drug activity.
Illegal drug activity.
Then, just 2 weeks before he disappeared, Lynn believes someone threatened Joe at his daughter's softball game.
Immediately after that, he lost 20 pounds. He was worried. And, we just think he was threatened.
His whole personality changed.
Whole personality changed.
In those last 2 weeks before he disappeared.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's in here?
This is actually FDLE's case file on my brother with all the investigation that they did. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, it's quite extensive.
On April 4th, the day Joe vanished, Lynn says her brother was still talking about leaving town. She says he left his home in his 1981 Chevrolet pickup truck to pick up supplies for the trip, stopping by the post office and a Walgreens.
Shortly after Joe disappeared, his abandoned truck was found in Tequesta, near US 1, right behind what was then called the Hilltop Tavern. His truck was found in this back alley. And then a little over a week later, Joe's body was found about a half-mile down the road in a shallow grave just over the Martin County line.
Okay, see where they're building that new construction?
Yeah.
Mike Driscoll is a retired Florida Department of Law Enforcement agent.
His body was found back behind.
Yes.
This.
Yes.
Driscoll says Joe's body was so badly decomposed, a cause of death could never be determined.
And it was all in this area
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
Martin County detectives suspected it was a natural death or a possible suicide. That's when Driscoll took over the investigation.
Why do you not think it's a suicide?
Why would he walk a half a mile at night with a shovel, dig a hole behind all the brush here, and then go sit in it? If he was going to kill himself, there would be a cause of that. We would see that, whether it be a gunshot wound or poisoning or overdose or something. None of that was ever found.
So how do you think he died?
The only possibility I can think of is maybe he was suffocated.
This video from the WPBF 25 News archives takes us back to the night detectives discovered Joe's body. He was shirtless, and there were sneakers in the shallow grave that may not have belonged to Joe.
There was a lot of suspicious activity with this, but we never conclusively could nail it down. My opinion that whoever was probably more than one person involved in this death.
What do you think happened to your brother?
I think he saw something he wasn't supposed to see.
Joe's remains were eventually exhumed and tested by a renowned forensic specialist, but again, no cause of death.
In terms of evidence, you have the shovel, you've got the sneakers that possibly did not belong to Joe. If all that were tested today with modern technology, you might find something.
Yeah, it's hopefully with modern technology, hopefully that would happen.
I asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement about that, and they told me it is not an open case currently, but FDLE is reviewing the evidence and facts of the case to determine if it could be reopened. You believe that somebody here in this community knows the answers
Absolutely.
to all of these questions?
Yes. Time goes by, people get divorced, people have a conscience. Somebody wants to get out of jail free card. Somebody's just got to talk. He just didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve this. You know, I just want some peace for him.
The case was complicated because Joe vanished from his home in Palm Beach County, but his body was found in Martin County. At one point, an eyewitness did come forward saying they saw someone who was not Joe get out of his truck and into a wood-paneled station wagon with people already inside. If you have any information on the death of Joe Moskowitz, contact the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Tiffany Kenny, WPBF 25 News.